Okay, there we go.
Greetings.
I think we're live. Nice.
We're live.
Well, welcome.
Hallelujah. Hello there, young man.
Hello. I think it's this is the first one technically of the new year,
It
2025.
is.
Wow.
It
Starting
is.
episode 21. So we did 20 in 2024 and first one for this year. All right.
There you go.
Guess they call that season 2 and like the are are we ready for season 2? Is that where we are?
I'm thinking I might even change my room that I'm in
Oh,
for the
yeah.
new season. Not today. Obviously, you can still see the same background,
Yeah.
but we have set up a new room
Okay.
in our house, and I might shoot it up there starting next time. And I
Okay.
was also thinking this summer when it's warm out, I don't know if this is feasible, but I'd like to record it from a nature preserve.
Oh, yeah. I've actually had some success using what we use. No one they see Facebook or they see YouTube or whatever their method of consumption is. But the platform we use is web based, and I have had some success live streaming from my iPhone using this same setup. Some soccer games or some basketball games of my daughters to family members. So I think it is feasible. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great. Well, we'll shoot that in June. I'm not going out there in February.
Yeah. I know you guys are probably getting ready for another wave of a true winter cold front soon, huh?
Yeah, it's here. It's 9 degrees or something like that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. We,
Yeah, and gonna get super cold tonight.
we're about a week out from a real winter weather system. We've been hanging around the freezing temperature, 32 degrees for the whole winter so far, but next week we'll hit the teens and 20s and whatnot. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I heard 20 below with wind chill tonight.
no thanks.
Right.
No thanks.
And tomorrow I'm going in to work in the warehouse of the street angels,
Oh,
homeless, and it's just I'm not out with the homeless people. I'm in the warehouse, but still, just being that proximity to their level of suffering is really mortifying. Oof.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you think, gosh, eh, the comfort or the discomfort of the warehouse, and that's nothing compared to being living in the elements themselves. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. And they do have shelters, but not enough to house everybody. And the homeless, some of them don't like to go to the shelters because of the danger imposed by other homeless people.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That's such a tough situation to be preyed upon or to be targeted by those who are um yeah, just more willing to assert or aggress. Yeah.
yeah, psychologically
Yeah.
Greetings to those who are listening. I see we have three
Got a
people
few.
online right now listening.
Excellent.
So greetings to all of them. Hello there.
Welcome.
Yeah. So Nick, your last 2 weeks been okay?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Hey, good to see you, Black Raven Meditation.
Hi
Yeah,
there.
my last 2 weeks have been good. Guess what? It's officially time to start New Year's 2025 resolutions because I hear Friday was quit day. So
Right.
everyone's gotten past quit day. So it's truly time to start your real resolution.
Did
Uh,
you have a resolution?
I did not. I didn't set myself up with one. I just I'm going to just continue, and I think hopefully this resonates for everybody who opts not to do the buy into the resolution trend. But I just want to keep working on optimization. That's been my theme for
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
few months right now, and optimization.
I
I
love it.
had a good, I when I do go to see my therapist, I have a guy, and we actually every time we meet up, we go it's not even like therapy. We go on a walk and we talk about things.
Oh,
And
that's
yeah,
nicely done by the therapist. I like that.
yeah. It's we always go for a walk, and his office has moved. One time we used to walk around a cemetery, which was oddly just really chill. I liked it. And now we're in a metropolitan area along a river. Great setting, great scene. But so we go on our walk, and I keep talking about this optimization, and I said, man, I bet it works really well in a vacuum. And I was like, my life doesn't stay steady, consistent enough to feel like I'm ever optimizing. It's like I've got one plate spinning here. Okay, this plate's not spinning anymore, but I got a new one. And if it's not every few weeks, it's at least every month or two that things change. So optimization, it feels like it's an ongoing, just like self-care, just like meditation, fitness, exercise, whatever you want to call it. But this optimization game, it's trying to figure it out. But
It's
that's
great.
my goal. So
That's great. I hope you keep talking to us
yeah,
about how it's progressing for you.
thank
That's the
you. Yeah,
subject of the show.
yes. How about you? I know we talked about this episode. You had some experiences, some hard things to deal with recently. So I guess we'll get into that as part of the new year and where you want to see things going.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. The death of my beloved cat, our beloved cat, Hastings. I'm going to tell the story of Hastings' presence among us and departure and
Hmm.
continued presence. But before I do, I wanted to do some things here.
Okay.
Um, as people who are following the broadcast podcast know, we have just completed talking. I don't know how many months that was, but it's a pretty good long time about quote unquote the meta crisis slash poly crisis slash pickle
Hmm.
that we're all in,
Yeah.
and ways to adapt and respond to it. And I'm giving a presentation on that on Sunday
Oh,
in a Roman Catholic church. Got to start working on that.
wow. Wow.
Yeah,
How'd that land? Was that something you sought out? Do you know
this is
acquaintances that?
unbelievable. You
Yeah.
won't believe it, Nick.
Okay.
A person watched this podcast.
What? That's
Yes.
so cool.
So
Hey, we've made it. We made it. The Roman Catholic
exactly. I
Church
was
is watching.
I was in this group called Heart Math, the Heart
Okay.
Math Institute. I was trained in that heart meditation. And there's a directory of those of us who have um, been accredited as heart math facilitators. And this
Okay.
woman over in Menominee Falls, which is the neighborhood next to us, is also one. She was looking up heart math facilitators in the Milwaukee greater area.
Hmm.
Saw me and she said, I'm going to look up what this cat's up to. And she found this podcast and watched it
Oh.
and said, please come talk to my Roman Catholic Church in Menominee Falls about the um, poly crisis. I'm kind of getting tripped up on what to call it now. The
Yeah.
meta crisis and those four things that you were talking about.
Hmm.
So I've got an hour. I've got to make it concise,
Yeah.
but I'm going to go do it.
That is so cool. Well, congrats. That's amazing.
It is. It's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens. I hope I don't mess up. No, I'm kidding. It'll be fine.
Yeah. You'll be
Um, so, and we've completed that, you and I, and we're moving on to other things. I was talking about this author, Nora Bateson, and her book Combining, and I'm 200 pages in.
Hmm.
With John, that's amazing. Congratulations. Thank you, Corey. Greatly appreciate that. And I'll report on it next time.
Absolutely. We look forward to it.
Yeah. So, um, I've
So Nora,
started on this new book, Combining, and it's life altering if you're willing to work with it.
Okay.
Take it to heart and really seriously think about it.
Yeah.
For instance, the way Nora Bateson looks at things
Hmm.
is that this podcast between you and me, Nick,
Okay.
and our beautiful viewers, we had 57 this past week and 81 the week before. Everything that's involved in that is not just you and I talking on air,
Right.
but it's also your children's basketball season.
Right.
That is part of this show, not just because we mention it, but because it's part of the energy that you bring.
Hmm.
What does Carrie do for a living?
Oh, she's an accountant. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's her accounting office.
Hmm.
It's Mary's quest for the ideal job these days.
Hmm.
It's my sitting up late at night listening to various musical forms. I've listened to 1950s jazz
Yeah.
recently. Last night I was listening to bluegrass from the early 50s at 2 in the morning
Okay.
because I had insomnia.
It's Hastings' presence. Yeah.
It's Hastings' presence and his departure, which we will talk about. All of this is part of this show. It's combining. That's the name of the book.
Okay.
And her contribution. Now, this book is so vast in its implications, and where I'm going to try to adapt as best that I can and include as much of it as I can. But she says, with regards to the polycrisis, which is her word for it,
Hmm.
um, the idea is not to match it with a response, but to meet it with a response. The
Okay.
difference is matching is linear causality, saying, well, we've got mental health, so we need to do a mental health. We've got a mental health crisis, so we need to spend money on a team of psychiatrists.
Intervention. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, suicide, we need to have a suicide hotline. All these things are good. They're
Hmm.
matching the situation. We need to bring down carbon emissions. We need to do this. She's saying meeting it is nth order. It's trying to respond by coming to a new level of consciousness about everything and
Okay.
the fact that it's all interconnected and importing it all into our lives and our way of being. So it's
A lot.
really resonating with me. And so, as a result of that, we're going to do two things before I talk about Hastings.
Okay.
We're going to, as I told you in the green room, we're going to do a little stretching. And then I'm going to read some lyrics to a song. Have you heard of We Shall Overcome by Pete Seeger? It was the massive civil rights anthem.
We will.
We shall overcome.
We shall overcome.
We shall overcome.
Okay.
We shall overcome. Did you ever hear that?
It sounds vaguely familiar. I think if I hear the actual performance, it will resonate.
Yeah.
Um, I'm looking at We Shall Overcome. Okay.
I saw the Dylan movie recently.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I forget the name of that one. I always call it the Dylan biopic. A Complete Unknown.
A Complete
And
Unknown. Yes.
Pete Seeger, played by Ed Norton, is singing that song early in the movie, and it's just strikingly beautiful to me, and galvanizing and perfect for January 13th, 7 days before
Mm,
um,
yes.
the Trump inauguration.
Well, more importantly, 7 days before, well, our holiday. It's interesting. We have a inauguration on MLK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very, gosh, if you could, you can't really script that any, any more. I mean, yeah, you get where I'm going.
So
I don't want to go down.
this week I'm going to
Yeah.
read the lyrics to "We Shall Overcome." Next time that we meet, I'm going to play on air for you Martin Luther King Jr.'s favorite song.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
That works for me. Absolutely.
It's called "If I Can Help Somebody,"
Mm-hmm.
sung by the great Mahalia Jackson. So we'll do some including of different mediums rather than you and I just talking about concepts. We're going to do some
Yeah,
things. Does that work?
that works. Just
And if I do anything illegal, you'll speak out.
we just yeah. Well, this is not a our YouTube channel. The Brambled Path is not a monetized thing, so we're fine with regards to just giving credit where credit's due, that kind of stuff.
Yes. Pete Seeger on the uh, Smithsonian um, collection of music on Spotify is where I got the lyrics.
Okay.
John Baez did the song famously as well.
That's yeah. That when I was like, what is this song? And yeah, that's the one I'm familiar with is the Joan Baez
Ah,
because yeah. Okay,
all right. So,
but I am caught up now.
amen, brother. So let's do a little stretching first. And those of you who are watching, there's now 4 instead of 3. Welcome to the 4th one who just came on. And people who are watching during the week, you're invited to do this with us. It's the very easiest little bit of embodiment practice, they call this. You put your hands like this, lace them together, and then turn them out like that. And then put them up over your head. Ah. Does that feel good to anybody?
Yeah.
Okay. And now we're going to bend over to one side so you feel a stretch in your rib cage and breathe in. And then come back to center. Ah. While exhaling. And then inhale and go to the opposite direction. Man, I look ugly. All right. Stretching again. And then exhale and come back to center. Do it again. Inhale and turn, bending, stretching your rib cage. And then come back to center while exhaling. Breathing in, and you could think to yourself that you're breathing in peace and tranquility, and then come back and you're breathing out, you're exhaling toxins and stress. Okay, and then we come down. We're going to do a very similar thing, but just with our head. Bend, stretching that neck and shoulder muscles while you're inhaling. And then come back to center, exhaling. Other side, bending, you're breathing in peace, tranquility, resilience. And then you come back to the center and exhale the toxins. Do that again, breathing in on the other side, breathing in optimization. And then come back to center, exhaling dysfunction. Other side, breathing in peace, love, and justice. Then you come back in, exhaling kleptocracy. All right, and then the last one is we're going to drop your shoulder blades back and down so your chest sticks out a little bit up front. And you just kind of breathe like that in and out at your own pace, and I'll just be quiet while you commune with this posture. And conclude. All right. There we go. Do you have a reaction to that, Nick?
I realized how much, even for my day off, kind of doing some self-care, how much I was carrying, how much tension I was bottling up. Yeah.
I seriously, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Okay, good. And now I'm gonna read you these lyrics. Song, it says by Joan Baez. I think Pete Seeger wrote it. We
Yeah.
shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I know that I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall be all right. We shall be all right. We shall be all right someday. Deep in my heart, I know that I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Deep in my heart, I know that I do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid, O Lord. We are not afraid, O Lord. We are not afraid today. Deep in my heart, I know that I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome, O Lord. We shall overcome, O Lord. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I know that I do believe we shall overcome someday. So there it is. It says, by 1945, when the song was taken up by striking tobacco workers in Charleston, South Carolina, it was transmuted into a statement of solidarity, the anthem of the civil rights movement, sung in many important marches. The song talks about overcoming racial injustice. So that's a good moment for us right now, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What comes to my first comes to my mind were 60 that was written, what, 60 years ago?
Yeah.
62 years ago.
Yeah.
And you know, and we're still reflecting on that.
Yeah.
We're still today doing the work. So I think what I would ask is, and more in just thought and exercise of, and I mean, we could probably look at, this song didn't exist before that, but in what instances was there a similar messaging historically, centuries or millennia before, and will continue to be today in 60 more years and 600 more years. um we pick up these messages or fights, call them a fight song,
Yeah.
mantras. And yeah, I mean, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night and thought is, you know where are we just sort of inevitably part of a cycle of this, continuing, or is it a bigger factor or a bigger consideration when you think about progress and humanity? It's like, well, there's always going to be an injustice, um, of challenge and opposition, circumstances of this nature where those who have and those who have not, it's a dynamic, and they're all, is this part of the human condition? Is this part of our society? You know, and how do we make it where if it is part of a society that the stakes can be a little bit more, I don't know, soft. They can be softer. Instead, it feels like it's the fight of a generation after generation after generation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Um,
I have the same kind of reaction, and my reaction, Bob Dylan has a song, Paths of Victory.
hmm
Paths of Victory we shall walk. And it's like, um, I heard that in 1970, and now 55 years later, are we?
right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
uh, a couple things,
What
you
keeps
know.
us from learning? That's what I keep getting stuck on. Right. Like
What's that? Will keep us from
what
what?
what keeps us from learning from our past, learning from our
Yeah,
mistakes,
one
learning
thing
from,
is that each generation, new people are born, um, and have to go through the stages of growth
yeah.
from self-centeredness, and that's not to shame or blame any child. They're just being natural.
hmm
But it takes work uh, to mature into a world-centric view.
Yeah.
You know, much of children are damaged by the culture that they live in,
Right.
so that they inhale um, self-centeredness from the culture around them. But it's each generation has to look to themselves and look to their groups as ways to mature and expand and expand their worldview and
Yeah.
their level of concern. I think there is some evolution.
Yeah.
It's hard put to say that right now because we're a
Feels
week
like
away from
regressing. Yeah.
putting a monster in the office, in the
hmm
Oval Office. Uh, but even while that's happening, I still think that there's some substrate of people that are evolving.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Well, and we've talked a little bit about this before, and one of the things I see is when there's a created or inevitable, natural, create, whether it's created or natural conflict or global crisis. It tends to reset people back to those selfish, sort of
Yeah,
self-centered. I mean, think of the pandemic. We all were forced to narrow our circle, to simplify our you know interaction with the rest of society. um and yeah, I mean, if we didn't have the technology of today, I could only imagine what that would be like. um but we continue to stay connected because of some of these advancements in technology and communication and whatnot. But yeah, I really pushed everybody into a place of narrowing your focus from that broader worldview to your own sphere, your own circle of family, not even just community. But
yeah,
yeah. So every time you do that, it's almost like, you know, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back.
yeah. And then
Kind of the story of progress.
the fires in LA are going through a stress
Yeah.
test right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love to see Jennifer Garner. That
Yeah.
television or movie star.
Yeah.
does the commercials for What's in Your Wallet. I don't remember what the company is.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
she's coordinating and spearheading, feeding program with the World Central Food Kitchen and Chef Jose,
Oh, okay.
and doing like heroic work. And I imagine she's just the one that we know about. But there's
Yeah.
many people that are stepping up to the plate at this time.
Hmm.
So
Well, and I think we don't get any breathing room between some of
ah,
these things. There's not enough breathing room.
that's
Um,
well said.
I was reminded when I thought of the fire, LA wildfires, and then I saw something or somebody, and I had to, I may not agree with this person's general socio-political alignments or whatever, but there was something that said, what about the folks in West North Carolina, and how they're, the aid is being shifted, and there's still so many, thousands of people struggling in the previous crisis, and now we're on to another one as well. And it's kind of like, when you have these groups of folks that, um, you go from one crisis to the next with attention, support, advocacy, all of those things. It's really hard. And we really get all of our resources and time, attention, financial, whatever, spread thin. Um, yeah,
It's gonna get thinner in a week.
yeah, 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 yeah. Um, you know,
Ah,
yeah,
well, yeah, I like that. We're not getting any breathing room. We just had um, Western North Carolina and the rest of them suffering like that,
yeah.
and now we've got this, and who knows what's next?
Right, right.
And the fires
I mean,
aren't over.
yeah, and I mean, you look at what and I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but we have been talking about, this, we are. I don't think we'll ever get out of the topics of the last few months of the meta
Well,
crisis,
no,
because
no,
there's one
let's
thing into it.
circle
Everything we
back
talk
to
about,
them.
you can feed back into it, but I mean, in this little sampling of 3 to 4 months, every little bit of the meta crisis has presented itself, from the Hurricane Helene to wildfires to, political unrest, uh, terrorism. I mean, people blowing up cars in Las Vegas or
Yeah,
driving through
yeah.
crowds in Louisiana and New Orleans. Um, I mean, gosh, if you don't see the meta crisis in a 3 month window by looking at all those things happening, I think you must be living on a rock somewhere. Yeah,
And the breakdown of the media, so that they're playing a game, a blame game, and it's talking about Gavin Newsom being responsible basically for the fires because of the fire hydrants.
oh
It's just like, ay, 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 people.
yeah, yeah.
Ah, okay. So I'm going to change the subject now. Are you ready for me to change the subject?
I am ready. Yes, I appreciate we went through a nice little exercise to to recenter. So yeah, let's shift gears.
Good, good. I hope everybody else that is listening enjoyed the stretching and the lyrics to "We Shall Overcome." So early October of 23, I said, "Hey, I want a new cat."
Hmm.
Mary she loves cats more than I do, I think, and was game fully. And we looked in and found this little black cat out in about 40 miles from here in the countryside
Hmm.
with foster parents. And we went and got him on a Sunday morning, I think it was. I could be wrong. Had a different name, but we had been watching um, Agatha Christie show on BritBox
Okay.
called Hercule Poirot, and
Okay.
his sidekick is Hastings.
Ah.
So we named this little black cat Hastings, and he arrived here and it was hilarious. The first week that we had him, he was up on the island, um, uh, the food island in our kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and Mary had the refrigerator open, and she bent down, and he jumped from the island into the refrigerator. And I remember him getting into standing on the dryer as I was putting the clothes in the washing machine and trying to paw at the clothes as I was putting them
Mm-hmm.
in and examining everything thoroughly. When we got around to putting up a Christmas tree, he climbed up inside it,
Yeah.
and just so much energy, so much curiosity. He was a distinctively unique cat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a pet? I can't remember what
I
you have.
have we have two dogs. We had a cat, a long time cat, that lived to 16, but he passed away in 2019. So we
Yeah,
haven't had a cat for a while.
5 years,
Yeah.
coming up on 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so and Hastings just moved into our house and became beloved of us. We have Stargell.
Mm-hmm.
We have Violet. We recently acquired another cat named Brewster, but at some point, Hastings' personality changed,
Mm.
and all that energy and all that curiosity kind of dissipated, and he became a cat who was just sleeping a lot. And,
Okay.
our love for him didn't change at all. We just thought that, well, it's cats growing up.
Mm-hmm.
His childhood was gone, and now he's a sleepy adolescent. But unbeknownst to us, he came home from that foster situation
Mm-hmm.
carrying a cat coronavirus.
Oh.
Yes.
Mm.
And cats carry them sometimes, and they can live their entire lives without it mutating into an active
Right.
form.
Okay.
But it did mutate for him. So one night, I think I had this on the air last time we spoke. One morning, I got up and I put the food out, and he always was an eager eater, and he
Mm-hmm.
didn't come. And I didn't think much of it. I fed the other cats and went and did my language lessons I do early in the morning, which are also part of this show, just as part of the energy of me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when I came, Mary came downstairs, and when I came up from the language lessons, I looked, and there was still no Hastings, and so I went in quest of him, and I went to a spot that I know where he sometimes goes. He hides in the basement, and there he was, and he's kind of looking very uncomfortable, and he was hyperventilating.
Mm-hmm.
So we took him to the vet, and that's when we were told that he had this situation.
Yeah.
The
Wow.
doctor, the first vet that looked at him said, "Yeah, he's terminally ill," and the second vet said the same thing.
Wow.
But then we heard, well, there is an experimental medication.
Mm-hmm.
It's come on board February of 24. And so we spent a lot of money to have him in the hospital for like 3 days, and he got on this med. It was pretty funny because it came in uh, FedEx or UPS, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I was looking out the window and I saw it come. And the guy sits inside the truck for a while, and then he gets up and he goes to another house, and then he goes to another house, And then he looks like he's getting back in his truck. So I ran out there on my bare feet in the winter. I'm like, hey, 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 cat's life is in danger. He goes, yeah, I know. I was just getting it for you. So he gives it to me. And we went on a campaign to save Hastings.
Yeah.
We were able to be with him on Christmas, but we took him in for a checkup, and the veterinarian said, "Yeah, he's looking good. He's lost weight, which I like,
Hmm.
and he has a good temperature.
Okay.
These are positive signs." Let me just take a X-ray of him. So she comes back, and she's not making eye contact with us
Mm.
at first, and I'm watching her closely. And as a hospice chaplain, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know these physicians
Hmm.
right here. So what's the story? He's got one lung collapse, and the other lung is probably not going to be able to make it, and his heart is under duress. You
Uh,
can spend $5,000 on a long shot, but that's to keep him alive. But when you keep him alive, he'll be miserable.
right. The quality of life. Yeah.
Quality of life will be suffering.
Right.
So we made a painful decision to put him down, and he was dead within 20 minutes of us making that decision.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, we um, were right there with him as they put him down.
Yeah.
Very emotional.
I bet. I
Both of
bet.
us in tears. Um, you know, it was like it was just brutal. And we've been through it before. Mary's been through it several times. I've been through it twice.
Hmm.
Losing a beloved cat.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just, I just kept saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. I'll be with you forever.
Hmm.
And then he was dead. And he was just a corpse laying there on the bed or on the table,
Yeah.
you know. So we went home without Hastings.
Right.
Now,
You go for a checkup and you,
exactly.
yeah,
As
you
you
come home
know,
without a pet. Yeah.
I wrote this book,
Right. The Garden of Healing. Hmm.
and I had consulted it in the time between, the first trouble
Hmm.
and his passing, but um, I don't. I'm not going by the book on my grieving so much.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful background knowledge for me to have.
Right.
Um, but Mary and I both are having experiences where um, we have flashes of seeing him out of the corner of our eye,
Oh, yeah.
you know, which
Hmm.
some of my Facebook friends are, oh, you're seeing him. That's his soul or spirit or something.
Right.
Um, I'm skeptical of that. That's just me. I think that it's my brain having a memory of him.
Uh huh.
He's in my consciousness somehow as a little spirit.
Right.
Distinctive and beautiful as he was. He was a really beautiful cat. Um, but whenever I do get these little flashes of him, um, I say thank you for being with us from October of 23 until now. A
Yeah.
great, great blessing
Yeah.
to have you with us, dear Hastings.
Hmm.
And he will be. I'll continue to be in communion with him, like I am with Aphrodite and Tungsten, my other two cats who have passed. I've considered myself in communion with them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Um, and we'll get his ashes in the mail pretty soon.
Yeah.
We've got a little, um, we've got a staircase, we got a landing, with a
Right.
shelf,
Mm-hmm.
and we now have the ashes of three cats on that landing,
Right.
plus a photo of Aphrodite. I don't have her ashes,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I've got her photograph up there. So there's, and Hastings will join them. And what I do is, on occasion, not every day, but I pause and I bow to them. And I didn't know two of them that are on there, but Tungsten I knew. And I say, I bow to them and I kiss Tungsten's urn. And I say, please protect my heart and I will
Mm.
protect yours. And that's my little ritual. And I will
Yeah.
soon begin it with my boy, Hastings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Well, thank you for sharing us
Yeah.
your connection and bond there with Hastings. And you know, you think about it doesn't I don't know, with pets or animals in general. Um Gosh, what an amazing, I mean, I know there's people out there who are not animal people, but you and
Right.
I are.
Yeah.
So I think I put on the episode here, must love animals. But gosh, what a there really are such a blessing to have.
No.
I think about the bond. I have three urns of pets. I mentioned our kitten, our kitty that we had 16 years. Passed away in 2019. Um, and then in 2020, we had one of our dogs pass away, Ace. Um, so Kennedy was the cat. Kennedy, big, real long haired, kind of a Russian blue Nebelong type cat. And
Russian blue.
Russian blue was the coat color, was what you'd call it. Kind of, it's long haired. So there's a breed called the Nebulong. Um,
Mary probably knows it. She knows
if
breeds.
anybody's familiar with cats, yeah. So but he was a rescue, and we had him for the longest time. He traveled all over with my wife and I when we were dating in college, and it was uh it was really hard because it was right after we moved here, to Spokane, Washington. So he endured a lot, and within a month of us moving and all that, he was ill and didn't have the fight anymore. So with pets, the thing I that makes it so hard is when you have children, we think, okay, the natural order of things.
Yeah.
I live, I die, but my children live. And if you lose a child, that's of course tragic and awful. But when we take on pets, we already know that some of them have this. We're fortunate to have them for whatever short period, or maybe if we're lucky, a long period, that they breach the high end of the average. But we know there's a point where we have to say goodbye. Um, and there's so much unconditional, like, fight and love that they just give, that like I said, I feel so blessed, and it's such a gift to have a pet's love. um, I have two dogs that the sensing that they show, um, their intuition, their instincts of
That's so great.
somebody who needs love, or who's
Yes.
struggling, who's sad, who's frustrated, and they gravitate. And I mean, I see it with other animals too, and other people's homes,
What are the
and
names of your dogs?
oh, Theodore, we call him Teddy, and Lila. Lila is, they're half siblings by about 3 months, and
Lila. That's a beautiful name. And Teddy,
yeah.
did you name him after Theodore Roosevelt or?
Um, Teddy actually, that's funny you say that. Um, we I consider him named after Theodore Roosevelt because we had a cat named Kennedy, and that was named after President Kennedy. And yeah, so But he came with Teddy, and we're like, perfect, Theodore. We'll call him Teddy. And Lila was my younger daughter always wanted to have a pet, and she knew she would name it Lila. She loved the name Lila, and I liked it, so we're like, oh, it's Lila. So we got them in the beginning of the pandemic, and slightly, yeah, early in the pandemic, yeah. But
Beautiful.
yeah, we had a 16-year-old dog and a 13-year-old dog and a 16-year-old cat. So we've been blessed with many years with them.
They are. I'll tell you something about cats in a minute, but I just got to show you this picture. Can you see my boy
Oh
Jesus?
yeah,
There he
I can
is.
see him. What a cutie! What a
Yeah, that's
cutie!
in his like half an hour before his passing.
Oh,
Yeah, we were loving on that
mm,
head. Let me tell you.
yeah,
Yeah, we were loving on that head. Still are. But here's an interesting thing. You were talking about intuitions, and it triggered something. I used to go out to this retirement home. Maybe you know what I'm about to say. They had a cat um, who would go and spend time in the room of a person who was terminally ill.
yeah,
100 rooms,
right,
and they would sense which one and would go
hmm
to it unerringly.
right,
And then one time, oh my goodness, look at that! The cat's wrong. He's gone to the room of somebody who's healthy and isn't dying. So the cat intuition is incorrect, and then that patient died about 2 weeks later.
yeah.
Not
It,
because
it,
of the curse brought by the cat, which is what a couple nurses aides.
the
It's a
cursed cat, rather than the intuitive, all-knowing,
yeah. I was like,
in
no,
touch
no,
with
no.
the spiritual realm
Yeah, it's like
animals that they are.
it's not a curse. The cat knew.
Yeah, yeah,
No, no, no. He killed her. I mean, ay, 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 ay.
yeah,
But isn't that amazing?
yeah.
How do they know?
It is amazing what these pets know. Again, I think it just goes down to the fact that they are there's a different plane of spiritual energy that they're more in tune with. It's kind of like yeah, there's feral senses that pets have. They come from their roots, their nature, but they also, I mean, they know if someone's a threat to them, or if that person is ill or in need, or my brother, um, he's got a roommate. He lives nearby, and on winter solstice, he went outside to do something or whatever, and he heard this noise, and lo and behold, he stumbled upon uh, a calico kitten that was stranded and abandoned and not thriving very well, and was calling out. So he took it in, named her Solstice, and
Oh,
he's been fostering her for a little while, and he's still kind of torn. What is he going to do? I think he just went for his first examination recently with her, and to get her some vaccines and that kind of thing, and kind of get teed up to eventually spay her. But then he's like, do I want to keep her? I've had cats before. I don't know if I want the challenges of, if I want to take a vacation, where I'm going to live next. How should I have a cat there? Should I not? All those things. But I think his gut, his feeling is that he's bonded with her, and he's looking for ways to keep that connection with her. I'm
yeah.
trying to talk my wife into letting us have a cat again. Like,
Wait,
come
you said
on, come
what?
on. Oh, I'm trying to talk my wife into letting us have a cat again.
And
Um,
have it be that one?
oh yeah, I mean, we're up for any cats, but yeah, I would love to take her in, but
Oh,
I know my wife. She ends up doing more of the dirty work for any pets we have. So she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you guys all want pets. You'd have a dozen in this house if I didn't, uh, be the voice of reason here."
Well,
Um,
you're going to have to step up and at least feed them and scoop the dupe.
oh
I
yeah,
scoop the litter boxes. I call it scoop the dupe.
scoop the dupe. Yeah, but yeah, I think my brother's gonna. I don't know. I think he's gonna find it hard to part ways because he's gonna have like he wants to know that she's going to a good place, a good situation, and so yeah, for now it's with him until he can find the right situation for her, or he ends up just caving and saying, "Hey, I've got a companion for however long she'll have me."
That's it. Well,
Yeah,
Solstice is part of this podcast.
yeah,
Her
yeah.
energy is here with us.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling the wake up portion that we talk about, the
Hmm.
interdependence.
Yeah.
Um, I really feel Hastings still with me in his energy. Um, I don't know if that'll always be the case, but I can feel him. You know, uh, I wrote in my Facebook post he was luminous tranquility mixed with furtive mischief.
Ah. Yeah.
That was Hastings. Just a delight.
Yeah.
Um, and Solstice brings her energy,
Yeah.
as do Teddy and Lila.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a new cat here with us too.
Oh, how old?
Uh, yeah, I don't know, a couple months.
Oh, okay.
We didn't.
Is that Brewster? You said.
Well, we have Brewster, but now we got a new one this week.
Okay.
4 days ago. Not as a permanent situation, but we're foster parenting her.
Oh.
Charlie, it's a girl named Charlie,
Hmm.
and she's been holed up in one room.
Yeah.
And last night she was out and about for the first time, and she and Brewster they look almost exactly the same. I can't tell them apart hardly.
Mm.
Um, and they were playing very wildly at 3 in the morning. So if I look a little bit tired, it's that's the energy of Charlie, her arrival in the scene.
Ah. Yeah.
So a spirituality of cats, a soulfulness of cats is here with us today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then we grieve, and that's a gift. I really
Right.
feel like it's a gift to grieve
Uh, yeah.
Hastings, the privilege.
Well, I mean, I think about here's where I in the grieving part is I often find myself going, gosh, did this pet, this loved furry family member, um, I think they had a good life and they were happy and we did well by them.
Yeah.
But there's this guilty part of I definitely wanted you around because it made me feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this part that's like yeah, you were around and everything about you was like it made me feel good. Like I loved watching you be silly and playful. When I needed a snuggle, I made sure I had you to snuggle when and I think about the health benefits of it, like that just I believe there's some studies that talk about like people who have pets and who stimulate with their pets have on average I think 10 points lower blood pressure, some statistics like that. And then there's also people are like, oh, should we be sleeping with our pets, should they sleep with us, dogs sleep with us, not. And I surprisingly found that there were some studies that showed people who sleep with their pets sleep a little bit better. And I was like, well, gosh, sometimes they're in my way and I gotta shuffle around and be like, get out of my knee space. Um, so I would think it wouldn't be the case, but
I'm
actually
the same way.
some studies show that that people sleep better with pets, that your
Oh,
blood pressure is lower when you have pets, that
yeah, it's so
there's all
soothing.
these great things.
It's so soothing until they're trying to wake you up at 5 a.m. for breakfast.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it's not quite as soothing.
Yeah, well, and you're just like, well, this is my life, and I gotta adjust my my sleep schedule for that,
That's it.
or take naps. Yeah, so yeah. Well, I when I make space as I do for my own, or thinking of my pets who have passed, and I'd say it's not, if it's not daily, it's to every few days that I think of, and it's the corner of your eye. Was that was that Ace? Was that Molly? Um,
Did you say Molly?
I had one of our 16-year-old dog that we lost a year and a half ago. Her name was Molly.
I had a dog named Molly
Yeah,
as a when I was in college.
yeah. They were special. They're special. I still I miss them, and I'm
Oh
also
yeah,
very grateful for the dogs that are here to carry on their presence, their love, their nurturing, their companionship, the bonds. I mean, yeah. So pets are incredible.
so if anybody watching this would like to say anything, we're about to get off the air, I think, but you can make a comment if you'd like.
In honor of our pets today. Yes.
Yeah, and
What
the
do they call that?
afterlife.
The Rainbow Bridge. I see people post or share that their animals have crossed the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds amazing. I want to. Thank you, Black Raven.
What'd she say?
It. She said, "Great show." Thank you. Yeah, she said,
Oh,
much love to your beloveds. Great show." Yeah.
thank you, Black Raven. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate you sharing Hastings' story too. Yeah,
I got through it without crying.
I was surprised. I thought I saw you choke up a little bit there. I saw a moment.
Well, I was choking up during "We Shall Overcome."
Oh, oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't remember choking up over our boy, but I may have.
I think it was before, as you were describing him being there alive and
Oh
then
yeah,
transitioning to not.
yeah. Well, it's emotional. It
Yeah.
definitely is. All right. So next time we're gonna hear Mahalia Jackson. If I can help somebody,
All right.
we're going to do. We're going to begin diving into Nora Bateson. If I can make heads or tails of the book, it's a challenge.
Yeah, I did share that in our thread of the chat. It didn't come. It just came across as a link, but I did put after that I commented combining by Nora Bateson. So
Yeah.
that link I put in was just to the Amazon link of her book, and excited to hear more about it and discuss this concept of combining. Just a little teaser of where my head was going. I think about all the amazing degrees of separation, and that's always been a fascinating concept to me. Is that we're only this many degrees of separation, but this is even bigger than that in terms of, hey, are we really that separated? If you commune with their body of work, their spirit, their existence, their memory, whatever, is it really that many degrees of separation, or is it much closer than that? And I think combining is a good way to think of it, being more connected than even these degrees of separation. So
Right.
anyway, that's my teaser thoughts on it.
And
We'll learn more.
we send out heartfelt energy for our friends in L.A. who have lost their homes. For Jack Nicholson, all the rest, Mel Gibson, whoever else, Billy Crystal,
We
and
shall overcome.
we shall overcome, with or without the insurance companies.
Yeah.
All right. Good to be with everybody.
Peace. Thank you all.
Peace.